Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like up. General Hospital sees Lulu Spencer's M. Rylan liver transplant surgery is around the corner. And Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, may lose the woman he loves. Lulu is set to wake up from her coma, but she will awake to chaos she did not expect. General Hospital recently saw Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, drop her kids off at the Quartermain mansion, and Dante talked to Cody Bell, Josh Kelly. Sam had to remind Drew, Cameron Matheson, and Jason, Steve Burton, to spend time with their children. And this was while she was healing from surgery. And shouldn't Jason and Drew already be seeing their kids regularly? At the stables, Dante opened up to Cody. He said he was proud of Sam for being strong, and he appreciates that she is willing to take a risk to help Lulu. Cody asked about Dante's feelings, and he clarified that he will always love Lulu. She is as part of his past and the mother of his son, but he sees Sam as his future. Cody wasn't sure if Dante was trying to convince himself or Cody. General Hospital sees Laura Spencer, Jenny Francis, and Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, get word that Lulu's surgery may not be successful. Laura was shocked to learn that Sam might back out of donating to Lulu. General Hospital fans know Lulu will wake up, and this is because the role has been recast with Alexa Havens. Lulu went into a coma 4 years ago, and she had a brain injury from the floating rib explosion. This was because of her uncle Cyrus Renault, Jeff Kober. She was about to confess her love to Dante, but she collapsed in the chapel. When Lulu comes to, she will likely still believe it's late 2020, so Lulu will not know how much time has passed. She will want to tell Dante that she loves him, but he may not be ready to hear it. Dante is now in love with Sam, and they are living together like a married couple. Sam's impending death, which will allow Lulu to live, will be a bitter pill for Dante to swallow. The timing of Lulu waking up and Sam's death will be crucial. Dante will be grieving the loss while Lulu tries to pick up where she left off. Lulu will be confused about everything that has happened while she was in a coma. And this includes the deaths of her father, Luke Spencer, Anthony Geary, and her aunt Bobby Spencer, Jacqueline Zeman. Dante deals with his grief and the constant reminder of Sam's sacrifice, and this happens every time he sees Lulu. Dante and Lulu have a long road ahead of them. It was a quiet morning at General Hospital, but for Dante Falconeri, the air was thick with tension. The rhythmic beeping of monitors and the sterile smell of antiseptic filled the room where his wife, Lulu Spencer, lay unconscious. It had been months since the tragic explosion at the Haunted Star, the event that had left Lulu in a deep coma. Friends and family had visited her bedside daily, holding on to hope that she'd wake up, but the doctors weren't optimistic. Dante sat in the corner of the room, his elbows resting on his knees, his head bowed. His heart ached with guilt and anger. He'd relived that night 1,000 times, wondering if there was anything he could have done differently to save Lulu from this fate. Though everyone told him it wasn't his fault, he couldn't shake the feeling that he'd failed her. As he sat in silence, Dan's phone buzzed on the table. He ignored it, unwilling to leave Lulu's side even for a moment. The world outside this room felt irrelevant. His entire universe was confined to this small space, tethered to the fragile thread of hope that Lulu might one day wake up. A soft groan broke through the monotonous beeping of the machines. Dante's head snapped up, his heart pounding as he looked at Lulu. Her fingers twitched and her eyelids fluttered. For a moment, he thought he might be imagining it, a cruel trick of his exhausted mind. But then her eyes opened, slowly, like someone waking from a deep sleep. "Lulu," he whispered, his voice trembling. He rushed to her side, his hands gently cupping her face. "Lulu, can you hear me?" Her eyes struggled to focus, but a faint smile tugged at her lips. "Dante?" she croaked, her voice weak and raspy. Tears streamed down Dante's face as he nodded. "It's me, baby. I'm here." He pressed a kiss to her forehead, his relief overwhelming. He hit the call button for the nurse, unable to tear his gaze away from Lulu. The room quickly filled with medical staff, their movements brisk but careful as they assessed Lulu's condition. Dr. Finn approached Dante, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "She's awake," Finn said with a small smile. "That's a good sign, but we need to run some tests to see where she's at neurologically. This is just the beginning of her recovery." Dante nodded, stepping back to let the team work. Relief coursed through him, but it was accompanied by a new wave of anxiety. What if Lulu wasn't the same? What if the explosion had left lasting damage? Hours passed, and finally, Finn returned with an update. "Lulu's tests are encouraging. She's alert and responsive, but she'll need physical therapy and time to regain her strength. There's also a chance she might have some memory gaps, but it's too early to tell the extent." Finn offered a reassuring smile before leaving the room. Dante re-entered, finding Lulu propped up on pillows, looking fragile but alive. She smiled weakly when she saw him. Dante laughed, a mixture of relief and emotion spilling out. "Thanks, I've been trying out the disheveled look. How are you feeling?" Dante hesitated, unsure of how much to tell her. There was an explosion on the haunted star. You've been in a coma for a few months." Her eyes widened. "Months? Dante, She trailed off, her expression turning pained. "I can't remember everything. It's all fuzzy." "That's okay," Dante said quickly. "Dr. Finn said it might take time for everything to come back. Don't push yourself, okay? We'll figure it out together." As the days turned into weeks, Lulu's recovery became the center of Dante's world. He was by her side through every therapy session, every frustrating moment when she struggled to remember simple things. He'd never seen her so vulnerable, and it broke his heart. But he also saw her strength, her determination to reclaim her life. One afternoon, as they sat together in her hospital room, Lulu turned to Dante with a serious expression. "There's something I need to know," she said. Who did this? The explosion. Was it an accident?" Dante's jaw tightened. He'd been dreading this conversation. "It wasn't an accident," he admitted. "It was Cyrus Renault. He planted the bomb." Lulu's face darkened with anger. "Cyrus Renault? That name. I remember him. He's dangerous, isn't he?" Dante nodded. "He's in custody now, but it doesn't feel like enough. He nearly took you from me, Lulu. Every day I think about what I'd do if I could get my hands on him." Lulu reached for his hand, her grip weak but steady. "Don't let him consume you, Dante. I need you here with me, not out there seeking revenge." Her words hit him hard, and he realized she was right. His anger, while justified, wouldn't help Lulu heal. He had to focus on her, on their family, and on moving forward. As the weeks turned into months, Lulu's strength returned bit by bit. She still had gaps in her memory, but she'd learned to cope, and so had Dante. They leaned on each other, rediscovering the love that had always been the foundation of their relationship. One evening, as they sat together on the couch in their living room, Lulu turned to Dante with a smile. "You know, for a while there, I wasn't sure I'd ever see this place again, or you." Dante wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close. "You're here now, and that's all that matters. We've been through hell, Lulu, but we're still standing. Together." And in that moment, Dante knew they'd be okay. Life would never be the same, but they'd face whatever came next side by side. Because if Lulu could fight her way back from the brink, then they could face anything as long as they had each other.